Joe.
I'm Joe's mom.
And we're Eastside Vibes. Today, this is going to be our last video of the year. And this is an EP that I've been pretty excited about since I found it a few weeks ago. Or I think like 2 weeks ago. So yeah.
Wow.
This girl, Juliet Ivy, she has been going crazy viral over the last, I don't know, I'll say month.
Okay.
It's actually cool how many followers I've seen her get online from when I found her a few weeks ago to
that's cool.
Now.
That's cool.
Now she's absolutely blowing up.
Yeah.
Her songs are on the top of the Spotify viral charts.
Yeah, I saw the last song on the album. I saw that was on there.
Yeah, so she's been having an awesome amount of success, and
awesome.
It's really, it's in my opinion, it's obvious to see why it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so the project we're covering today is Playpen by Juliet Ivy, an up-and-coming, I guess, indie pop star.
Yep. They say her music is a combination of hip-hop, pop, and indie all put together.
Yeah, it's very, it's very wide-ranging and eclectic.
Yes.
I thought her style a little bit, even though it's a little more modern sounding, reminds me a lot of Biba Doobie. She's a very popular alternative rock artist, or alternative pop rock, I guess. And she when she actually had something similar happen where she started to go viral a few years ago, and now she's one of the biggest artists in Britain, and
wow. Okay.
And she's critical. Her last 2 albums were phenomenal, so I hope that can happen for Juliet too.
New York City girl.
Yeah, and this EP is just I don't know. I think it's really fresh.
Mm-hmm.
It's has a very light and fresh feeling, and I think it's very relatable for people, which is why it's going viral the way it is.
Right. I think it's really relatable to younger people because her ideas are you're a young person having to deal with adult issues, and this is what it feels like. Kind
of being thrown into the world.
Yeah. Yep.
And I can definitely relate to that. I'm a little older than her, but I felt that way not that long ago.
Right.
So
right.
And it was all at the beginning of the social media age. So, or I guess when it was starting to really ramp up.
Right.
So it was, a absolute Wild West back then. But anyway, we're going to get into our opinions on this EP. The first song is called Wet Nose. And this one, all of these songs, I would say, have a tone that reminds me a lot of maybe late 90s alternative, adult contemporary alternative rock-ish.
Okay.
When I wrote about it, I kind of compared it to maybe I don't know, Sixpence None the Richer, or Natalie Imbruglia.
Oh, she's good.
That maybe even a little bit of Alanis, but not as hard as that.
Yeah.
But the beat for this song is very it almost has a garage and a bit of a hyperpop feeling.
Yep.
It's very upbeat.
Yep.
And I think it's cool how the beat really contrasts the style of
with what it means.
Well, that and the melody. Usually you don't hear that kind of melody on a beat like this.
Okay.
When you hear that kind of melody, you would expect the drums to be slower.
Yeah.
And it makes the song exciting.
Right.
And actually, a lot of the songs in this EP have that same feeling, where the beat make them exciting and the melody make them almost warm and cozy.
Yes. Very whimsical. Very the way she is.
Super light. Her vocals on this song are very I don't know. You wrote fairy-like, and I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
They're just so airy. I guess
airy. That's a good way of saying
floaty.
that. They're very airy. Yeah, you do. You feel the whole EP, you're floating through it with her.
Yeah.
But what she's saying is really meaningful. But the way her voice is, it's You're floating.
It makes it feel like you're almost like there wherever she's performing it,
yeah.
you know?
Yep.
Which is super cool. I think it would be cool if and when she ever goes on tour to see like her do this stuff live, to see her sing it.
Yep.
I've seen the videos on like TikTok of her performing, so. But yeah, no, I think because like this style of music like would feel like or be like really cool to see live. I don't know, it's just very very welcoming.
Yep.
And as far as like the lyrical tone of this song, it's also like I said, most of the EP has a very like relatable tone, especially for young people, and this one's kind of about like feeling lonely,
having no companionship,
feeling like the only person you have to talk to is the voice that's literally in your head, like you're just talking to yourself because you don't have anyone to talk to.
Right. And something I got out of it was that, you know, she, as soon as I read it, that it was wet nose, I'm like, this has to have something with a dog's going to be in it. And she says a few times in the lyrics that she misses her dog. And so that like related to me that when you're really lonely and just don't have something, a dog is like your constant, you know, you can always, you know, pour yourself out to your dog and your dog will love you no matter what.
Yeah. I saw, just a complete side note, but it reminds me of this. I saw a TikTok the other day of some guy who, he said that he was going through like DBT therapy.
Okay.
And they made him write notes to someone, but he didn't relate to anyone in his life. So he wrote a note to his cat. And it was like this like 15-page letter like to his cat, and it was like the sweetest thing I've ever read in my entire life.
Right.
But like it was like someone who like he like because of like what he had been through or whatever, he could not talk to like his mom or his dad. He didn't have siblings. All he had was his cat.
Yep.
And it was just like a really cool thing.
Yep.
And like that's how a lot of people will feel with their cat or their dog. It's like at least you have that one thing in your life that you know loves you.
No matter what, they will love you.
That's it's a super cool feeling. But so the next song is called Best Friend, and it has I would say it has like a feeling, sonic feeling that's very similar to the first song. I think this one's a little more like upbeat and energetic.
Right. So I had thought one thing, but then I watched the video and then I'm like, oh, now it makes sense because she's basically talking about having a best friend, you know, and that you're always going to be best friends with them. Like my best friend, we have been best friends for over 50 years and we can pick up the phone and talk to each other and we're happy with her when we're talking to each other or when we see each other. But she also talks about in it that I'll always be your best friend kind of until you find someone else in your life, like who, you know, like will not necessarily take the place of me, but they'll become your best friend. And she's like saying that would come to be like maybe a boyfriend or something for her best friend.
Yeah. And I think like in the song, she kind of talks about how, like whoever that person is, like they have to like be like meet a certain standard, like meet my standard, you know, like I have to like not approve of them, but like, you know, like I'll know if that person is good for you. You know? That's a cool feeling.
I've seen that. I've been through that with friends. So
and I think the feeling of the song is a lot. Even though the first song has a light feeling, it is a little bit like heavier of a sound.
Yes.
Or maybe not heavy, maybe that's a bad word, maybe like more melancholy.
Yes.
And that like works like with the tone of the lyrical tone.
Exactly.
And this one has a little more of like a bright sound, which also works with the lyrical tone. And like Best Friend and I think it's in my opinion, it's probably I wouldn't say the most forgettable. It's just like the one that I kind of go by.
Right. I think the next one is the one I think of a lot.
Yeah, I think the next three songs, I mean, all of them are really good, but the next three songs, I feel like I don't know if I relate to them more, but maybe it's because I relate to them more that I remember them more.
Okay.
You know? Because I don't exactly have this
Okay.
You know, like a best friend, that kind of best friend. So it's just, you know, but like I can appreciate it for sure.
Right.
But yeah, so the next song on the EP is called Boy Toy. And this one I think it has the most like modern sound.
I agree.
It's a little more poppy than the rest.
Yep.
Like it feels a little bit more, I don't know, like it fits into like what like regular pop music is today.
Yeah, that could be played on the radio and people would be jamming with it.
It still does it still is like instrumental, which a lot of like modern pop music is more synth driven, and this isn't.
No.
But the mix is a little more like raw, which makes it like feel like more like modern pop. I like how there's like a little distortion that comes in, and on the vocals and the guitar. Then like there's a section in the second verse where like the instrumental cuts out and it's just the drums. It just makes the song very fresh. I was saying the only thing about this song that I wouldn't say it bugs me, but I wish the outro part was longer. Like the beeping like noises, I guess, that come in, because I just like that sound, and I think it sounds good on this beat. I wish that like that would have went on for a little longer, or that was like put earlier in the song at some point.
It could have been put longer.
But it's still I mean, I obviously really like the sound of this song, so.
I as well. And so for me, and you know me, I'm the lyricist person. So for me, what I got out of it, and when you see the video that goes with it too, she's like running around with a doll, and a male doll is what it is. And, you know, she's basically just kind of being like, hey, so will you be willing to be there, you know, for me when I need you? You know, like a toy is there when you need it and you want to play with it. And she's kind of like, will you be that for me?
Yeah, it's like basically becoming infatuated or like falling in love with someone like pretty early. You're like, this seems like it could be really good, but you're not exactly trusting that person, but like you want to, and you're just kind of diving into it.
So until we get serious about it, just be my boy toy, you know.
And I think it's cool how like in the video she is like playing around with the toy, because it's very like tongue in cheek. Like, you know, like self-aware. Which is cool, you know. It makes the meaning of this. It makes the song more meaningful, in my opinion. Like I always think when people can create a video, like even like a simple thing that goes with the song that like represents anything that's going on in the song, it makes it more meaningful.
It's a very simple video, very simple, but you get it. You get what she's
you know saying. What? Yeah, and she doesn't have to do anything else. Like, and you know that's cool because it was probably easy to film that.
Oh, very much so.
Like you can just do that by yourself. It's just a cool little idea to push along the narrative of what she's trying to say here. And like what she's saying here is like a relatable and like an important thing. So, you know, it is, you know, like you should just go for it basically. If you think like if you think that person is good for you, just, you know,
try them on a little bit and then go for it if you need to.
But yeah, so the next song is called Lug, and this might be my favorite song.
I think this is a very deep song.
I think the last song is like the one that's like really going viral and the most popular one. I would say, and that one's good too. But I don't know. I just like this is a deep song, and I feel like I relate to it. And I think the sound of it is it's super super catchy. Like the hook is very 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 catchy. It just gets like stuck in my head.
I saw a video of her performing it, and it's just like a camera just following her face as she's singing it. Again, real simple, but you get it.
Like that's really cool that she can like just like portray, you know, like the ideas of like, you know, these like kind of deep, you know.
She doesn't make it into a movie or anything. It's not like a movie that's going with it. It's just like
something that like, you know, like pushes along like the feeling of what she's trying to say. And like these are like feelings, like these, you know, every song like induces the lyrics induce a feeling. It's not like listening to Travis Scott and you're like like, I don't know what he's trying to get me to feel
what,
out of this.
What am I trying to get? Her, you get it. You definitely get it with Juliet. I felt that what she was basically saying is that she wants to commit to a relationship, but the other person has a lot of issues, a lot of things that they're dealing with. So she's kind of like, do I want to lug that around in my life too?
I didn't necessarily get that it's like a relationship with, I mean, it could be a relationship like with a significant other, but I felt like it's like a friendship too.
Oh yeah.
And that's like where I relate, because I've like had friends where it's like you feel like you're just like carrying, you're carrying what they're going through. Right. And you can't even like focus on what you're going through.
No, it's like, so best friend is like really, really good. I almost wish they maybe would have flipped these two, had lug up there where you're like, oh, I get it. And then you're like, wait, but you can have a best friend, but it's maybe, like the opposite of best friend.
Maybe, like on a lug, she's realizing that person is like dragging her down a little bit.
Yep. That's really what's that?
Self-aware.
Self-aware. That's very self-aware.
Yeah. It's like you have to make sure that you focus on your own happiness first. And don't once again, it's funny. I think I keep relating it to TikToks because I found this on TikTok and it makes me think of it, but also it's just because these ideas are so relatable.
Very much
relatable.
Very much so.
Things that other people are like saying in videos. But I saw something recently and like this guy was like, here's a good test for like, if someone should be your friend or not. Do they make you feel like crap when you're around them? If the answer is literally anything other than no,
Cut them out. They're done.
That's like so, like you feel like because you've known someone for a while or something, that you have to like try to
you should
make
be
it work.
Committed to them, yeah.
But it's like no, sometimes people just change too.
Yeah.
Like,
life changes
stuff happen, like something could happen in your life that just makes you think or act differently. And that's okay. And then you may not relate to people anymore.
Right.
But people try to like push it. It's like there's no reason to even do that.
Right.
Like just do whatever makes you happy, But yeah, so that's probably why I really like this one. Maybe that's why the chorus keeps getting stuck in my head, because I can just like feel what she's saying. Okay. And it's a really that makes it stand out. That makes like the whole project stand out for me because there's things on it that I can just like that
relate to.
That like I can attach to.
Right.
The last song on the EP is called "We're All Eating Each Other."
I love this. And
this is the one that's like going viral. It's on the tops of like a bunch of viral charts all over TikTok, and and out of all the songs on the EP, this is the one that actually sounds the most retro.
Yes, I was the instrumental. At some points, it sounds like it's a warped vinyl going. It's kind of like this.
Yeah,
and then
the mix is cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, you can really hear it, and it catches you right away when you hear it.
Yeah, and she and our people like she works with, they probably mix this.
Yeah, it was really good.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm guessing she's not on like Universal or something. Like she's not getting some some high paid engineer to come in and mix this. I bet they did that.
Right. She went to a studio who she felt could do this
or a friend or something.
Yeah, and they did it. It's really cool. It's really cool. I like it.
But pretty much every other song on the EP has faster drums.
Yes, this
that
one does
make
not.
It sound modern. This one has slower drums. So, the drums fit that. Those that adult contemporary stuff I was mentioning earlier that a lot of melodies have. The drums fit that too. If you said this song came out 25 years ago, I might believe you. Yep. Because it just sounds like it came out in the late 90s, that kind of music.
And so for me, I like the lyrics of it, I think would also relate to the 1960s because, that's kind of the mindset that people had, about what it means. And basically what she's saying is, how you put it is that well, not to go back. She's like, we're basically all a product of chance. Every single person in life is a product of chance. Okay. And she's got the idea behind it that no matter what happens in life, in the end, we're all going to die. We're all going to decompose. And then that's going to create something that we're going to eat. And I told him when I first heard this, all right, it's a really weird, quirky story, but I always joke because I teach about ancient Egypt. And so I always tell the kids, someday when I pass on, I want to have a big golden pyramid as my tombstone. And then one of the kids one year, he goes, well, he said, where do you want to be buried? I'm like, oh, right outside the school, so they all remember me. And he's like, well, what if instead we plant a tree on you, and then when you decompose, we'll eat the apples and you'll always be part of us? And I'm like, oh my God, what? But that's how I felt after I heard this. I'm like, you're right.
That so if you haven't heard this song and you don't know the lyrics of the chorus, she's basically saying that when we die, we decompose and turn into flowers that bees use and to make honey, and people use that honey in their tea.
Yep.
Like, that's what she's saying. So,
yeah.
And that's like why like that story like works. It's like that's kind of like a similar thing.
Yeah.
Like this kid's like, like we're gonna eat you because you become the plant. Or whatever.
Yeah. So.
But like, the whole sentiment behind this song is kind of like, stop taking yourself so seriously.
Yep.
Like, because, like, we all, like you said, we're all a product of chance. We all live and we all die and we all decompose.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is. That's what life is.
Yeah, and it is. And like you said, stop taking it so seriously.
Yeah.
And when this kid brought this up, I'm like, you're right. You're totally right on that one. Just, it was
like,
funny.
Like, just, like, chill, it's, like, you can't control everything. You can't change everything.
No.
All you can do is try to be happy.
Right. And I think her first 4 songs really lead you up to this song in the end.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because they're all, like, the first 4 songs are all, like, relatable emotions about, like, self-doubt or, self-awareness and, like, not knowing... not knowing.
Yeah,
just
like being
knowing.
Really deep, not knowing what's going on. But then this one, she's like, in the end,
it doesn't really matter anyway.
Yeah,
it's like,
it doesn't.
Either it's gonna work out or it's not gonna work out, and you're just gonna keep living.
Yep. And
until you don't.
As you get, and this is, I would say that this is a. We talked about that she's a young person with adult issues.
Yeah.
I think the older you get, you really would get the song. Like I don't know if my friends would ever listen to it, but yeah, I'm at that point right now in my life where it's like, just don't worry about it.
Not everyone like gets to this point though.
No.
And I feel like I personally like have, and I feel it's like, I'm not saying you need to, but it is like a good place, a good way to think about it.
Yeah, just don't take it seriously, because in the end, this is what happens. And
keep going.
You're right.
Yep. It'll
live your life.
Whatever happens, you'll be able to figure it out tomorrow.
Yep, live your life.
Or maybe you won't figure it out.
But
it is what it is.
Yep.
This is a complete side note, but I've always said I envy people that are like super religious or something, because like you feel like you have this thing you believe in.
Yes.
And like you're working for that thing.
Yes.
And it gives you like something to go for.
Right.
But I also wonder if that sometimes like puts like a mental stress on you,
definitely.
That you have to be a certain way in order to achieve this thing. But at the end of the day, like maybe you just can't be that way.
Right.
And you feel guilty.
And I think depending upon what your religion is, the guilt may be felt more in certain religions.
Yeah.
Like I think of, there's some churches, like there's some Christian and Baptist churches where you go in there with those feelings, but they make you happy by the time you walk out with all their singing and and that's a good thing to go for, to relate to. And but
if it makes you feel like bad, then maybe it isn't a positive thing, but it's still at the end of the day, like we don't really know what happens anyway.
Right. No, we
don't. All we know is we're gonna rot in the ground.
Yep. And bees are gonna eat the flowers that we grew, and
that's literally
then you got
all
honey.
know.
People are eating your honey.
So yeah, like I said, just keep living your life.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. So what did you rate
keep moving forward. I mean, I love this. When I wrote about it, I think I gave it like a 9. I think it's one of the best projects I've heard all year.
Very lighthearted.
Yeah, like I haven't given like money. I haven't like rated anything like that on this blog. I haven't rated anything that highly, but in general, like maybe like one. There's maybe like one project in the whole year that I liked more, and it was actually that Lana Del Rey album.
And ironically, you just really found out about her 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And look at how high you're rating.
Yeah, and I just listened to it. I'm like, this is really good. She's onto something, and I hope that like she. Like I'm excited for her to, you know, when she is able to like work on writing an album and just like, you know, like develop her sound more, because she's onto something really, really cool here.
She is.
Her vocals are really good. Her lyrical tone is really good. You know, she has like a fresh but also like retro sound that like it can relate to a lot of different like types of music listeners.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I really love this. So.
Good. I would say for me, for rating, I would probably give it an 8.5. So really one of my higher ratings.
For you,
yeah, it's really high. And again, it's only 15 minutes long.
5 songs, 15 minutes.
But it
makes you like feel a lot of things in 15 minutes.
Yeah, like when I'm driving to work, I can listen to this and I'm like, I get
You can go through some emotions, and at the end, you know, just like feel like, oh, well, it doesn't matter
as you're walking into work, it doesn't matter, you know.
Oh, well, yeah. But, yeah, like I said, I'm very excited for Juliet, and I hope that she can, you know, keep I don't know, like build on what she's she's doing here, you know, like push it into something really big. I hope that she can be like a huge star.
I hope so too. I really do.
Yeah. Like, you know, this is how like Billie Eilish came along too, or like Clairo. So like, you know, she could be like the next like one of these like indie pop stars. And I hope it happens. But yeah, that's how we feel about Juliet Ivy's Playpen. I'm glad that I found this like recently.
I agree.
And because we were originally, because this is gonna be our last one of the year, we were originally gonna like talk about like our favorite. I was gonna talk about my favorite albums of the year and maybe have you talk about your favorite ones that we've done. But now we'll have to do that after the new year, because I was like, trust me, you gotta listen to this.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
And also gives me like, now that I know you like this, it gives me more ideas for like other stuff to listen to, like that's similar to this, that has this kind of style.
Awesome.
But that's how we feel about Juliet Ivy's Playpen.
Listen to it.
Yeah, please listen to it if you haven't, and if you have, let us know how you think. I would guess that you really like it. But yeah, with that being said, I'm Joe.
I'm Joe's mom.
We're Eastside Vibes, and thanks for watching.
Thanks. Have a happy New Year.
Yep. Merry Christmas.